One of the main things that annoys me as a person who is young, one of the main things that I get is that, oh yeah, you're just a kid, you're way too young or something like that. You're only 16, so you don't know anything, you know? And so many people who are around my age, so many people who talk about that, they automatically get silenced by all these guys who are older, and they just say, oh yeah, you're young, so you don't understand. And to some extent, I do understand that, our brains aren't really like completely developed and all that stuff. We can make irrational decisions. We can talk pretty stupid sometimes. But that shouldn't be the sole argument as to why our like entire reasoning is wrong. There are people who are 15, 16, 17 who are more successful than people who are in their 40s or 50s or something like that. People who put in so much work and so many hours. There's literally a guy, a teenager, who's richer than them. And then people who are older automatically get pissed. Oh yeah, you're only a kid, so you're stupid or something like that. Like that pisses me off so much, bro. The fact that this guy is successful means that he knows that's something that you don't. And the fact that you're saying, "Oh yeah, he's just a kid," shows your ignorance, bro. It shows that you don't have any humility. It shows that you're not willing to learn from anybody. Even me, as a person who's 16 years old, if like one of my cousins was like 12, 13 or something like that, and I had like an argument or something with him or whatever, and then I just resort to, oh yeah, you're just a kid. Like he might be actually saying something that's actually true, but like my only defense is, oh yeah, you're just a kid. Like people say that, or they either say, oh yeah, you haven't experienced enough with life. Like I saw this one. Okay, I know it wasn't from Andrew Tate, but it was like some quote or something from Andrew Tate. I'm not sure if it's 100% true with how much like fake stuff is around him, but it was like, oh yeah, you haven't experienced enough as a kid, so like you need to grow up and then you can actually like talk about this, or then you can actually start doing stuff. And I honestly disagree with that, because I don't think you need to experience life and make and learn from your own mistakes to be able to like gain wisdom or something like that. Like there's also a concept which so many people don't know about, which is learning from other people's mistakes. Everybody always talks about, oh yeah, you're learning from your own mistakes. This is just like all life and all that stuff. You're learning from your own mistakes, but nobody talks about learning from other people's mistakes. And that I feel like is way more valuable than learning from your own mistakes. Because if you learn from somebody else's mistakes, you don't have to make the mistake in the first place. You already know the consequences, and you already know what would happen if you avoid that mistake. When you're taking somebody else's advice who's like wiser than you, or like a friend's advice or something like that, right? You're learning from his mistakes so that you don't have to make that same mistake in the first place. That's so much more valuable, and that's so much more easy to do than just learning from your own mistakes. And that's so valuable as a young person. As a young person, you need to be learning from other people's mistakes, because if you make your own mistakes, that's just gonna set you back. In this life, you have to get ahead. You have to get ahead as a young person. And if you have all this wisdom from people who are older, if you have all this wisdom from everybody who's made it, that's so valuable, because you won't have to get set back in the first place. You're already ahead of everybody else so much. And this is the thing. These guys say, oh yeah, you haven't experienced life or whatever like that, so like just shut up or whatever. But that's the thing. If you wait till you've experienced enough life, right? Then you're just gonna be going at the same pace as everybody else, right? You're gonna be going at the same pace. You're gonna be like 25, and you're still gonna be working a job because you didn't start when you were 16, because you wanted to experience enough life. Like that entire idea is a flaw in itself. You have to in life. You have to get ahead. You have to take the wisdom of other people who are older than you, and then apply it to your own life, so that when you're 17, you're mentally ahead of everybody else who's 17. And that's the thing. There's so many people who are 15, 16, 17, and they're teenagers, who are wiser than people who are in their 20s, or the average person who's in their 30s. There's so many people who are wise like that. And the reason as to why that is because they took other people's advice, they took everybody else's wisdom, and they didn't just like, oh yeah, experience a life and learn from their own mistakes to get wisdom themselves. There's somebody, if you ever think about, oh yeah, you're just a kid or something, if you're ever just like, trying to disprove somebody who's younger than you wrong, you just say, oh yeah, you're just a kid or whatever, right? You need to understand that kid might be wiser than you, if you're 30 or 20 years old, or however many years you are right now. At this age, some people act like you're responsible because you're still a kid or something like that. So that's it. Like some people think that, oh yeah, if you're like 17 or something, that's kind of the same thing as like if you're being like 11 or something. Like people really think that, oh yeah, you're not mature enough to have your own opinions. And honestly, that is true for in some cases. There's some people who are mature more than others, and there's also some people who are like completely stupid. But a lot of people be like, oh yeah, he's just this many, bro. He's almost a grown adult, bro. He's legally almost a grown adult. Like, oh yeah, he's 17, so oh yeah, he's not really responsible or something like that. He should just stop talking. Like at that age, bro. Back in the olden days, like you would be considered as like a man. In that age, you'd be considered as a full grown man if you're like maybe even more than 15 years old. And they act like you can't really hold an opinion for yourself or something like that. Like you're still like following whatever your mom or dad says or whatever the media says, you know. And that is true in some cases, like as I said before, and it also isn't. Alright, yo, that's a bit of what I wanted to say. It was a bit of a rant, but I hope you might have learned something from this or something like that. Anyways, my name is JBM. Take care. Peace.